Hi guys, Frytech here. So, should you buy iPhone 12 in 2024? Let's talk about this. So, I finally switched from my old trusty 6S Plus to the new, for me, iPhone 12. There are many things that surprised me in iPhone 12. So in this video, let's just talk about 7 of them. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the first thing that you notice when you see the phone. It's the actual design of the phone, right? I think this is basically like peak design in terms of, like, I don't want Apple to ever change this shape. My first iPhone was iPhone 4. You're not gonna believe what I have here. This was my first iPhone 4, and I loved this design. I loved it. I didn't like the fact that if you drop it, no matter how you drop it, you're gonna fuck it up essentially. But just this square design, it was so great. And now we've got this. Like, are you kidding me? Like, first of all, it's so much bigger, but it's great that we came back to this. I don't like that the glass panel is glass, right? But it's actually pretty good for grip. Like, grip is like really strong. Like on this phone, I put the dbrand skin because the aluminum back was like absolutely slippery. Like it was like a soap in a bathtub. This case didn't like help much, not case, but skin, didn't help that much, but it was still better. But this is great. In fact, the most slippery sort of parts of the phone are the sides now. When you pick it up, like this will slide, but if you just grab it like that, no way it's gonna slide anywhere. I love it. Okay, so let's just take it out of the way. Okay, I've spent 2 minutes talking about it. I love this design. I think this is peak design. I don't want Apple to ever change it back to round or whatever. This is like peak design for me anyway. Obviously, then you see the screen, right? So the next thing, number 2, is the screen. I have been using my iPhone 6S Plus since, like 2015 or 16, whatever year I bought it. And Apple usually had like good, not usually, all the time, they have good IPS panels, just good screens in general. They were the only company basically that cared back in the days on MacBooks. That's why I bought like in 2010 my first MacBook, because they really cared about the screen quality, and I really cared about the screen quality as well. And here where we come into the next point, right? This OLED screen on iPhone 12 is really good, and not really good in terms of like it's OLED screen, so the dark is like really dark. And for many of you, it would seem like a stupid thing to say in like 2023, 2024, but I haven't used OLED screens ever, basically. I've seen them, in stores and things like that, but I've never used one because, once again, this was my primary phone, and that was just that had IPS screen. But what's like more interesting about this particular screen, it's not even that bright. It's about 625 nits in standard mode and 1200 in HDR, which we're gonna talk about HDR in 1 second. But so between the 6S Plus, in terms of brightness, I didn't find that much difference, that much improvement. But what really kind of got me is the fact that when you're scrolling something, you can always see the text clearly. And that's one of the hallmarks, essentially, of why you would want sort of like 144 Hertz or 120 Hertz screens, because then when you scroll things, it's not blurry, the pixels don't sort of mush together and there is no pixel blur essentially. And I was like just scrolling menu on this phone, and I was like, wow, like I can scroll it and I still see individual text, like in the settings, for example. I see individual text all the time, and I'm like, that's weird, because it doesn't feel like there is no smoothness of 120 Hertz or 240, whatever, but there is this clarity of pixels, because from my understanding, from what I've learned about how OLED works and the difference essentially between IPS, is that the pixels in OLED can sort of fire and sort of darken itself really quickly, quicker than IPS. And so the text sort of stays clear on the screen. And it's amazing because like half of the benefits of, like I'm saying, higher refresh rates is exactly that you can scroll and you can still see the text, so you can see what's going on essentially. And I was just really surprised because I didn't expect this, because I didn't use OLED screens before. So with this out of the way now, let's jump into another point. Speakers. Speakers are great on this phone. There are two speakers, one at the bottom, one at the top, and this is also your earpiece, and both of them are great. Again, I'm pretty sure they will have improved it in like 13, 14, 15 models. Even this, after, again, after 6S Plus, night and day. In fact, what's interesting is that like sometimes the earpiece is actually in like quieter surroundings, like or at night, it's a little even like loud, which isn't the problem that I thought like anybody would would have to deal with essentially. But it's just so interesting. Again, this is my experience. This is my sort of more or less like uncut experience after using this phone for like not 2 months, probably less than 2 months. These are the things that, yeah, I think like people who upgrade from older phones, or maybe who upgrade from like lower tier like Android phones, you will definitely see like huge difference in many aspects. Okay, so speakers are those 100%. The next thing is, you would think I would say cameras, but no, it's actually microphones. Microphones on this thing is insane. Like, speakers are great, but microphones, dude, like I'm impressed. I'm so impressed because I was buying this phone almost as sort of a working tool so I could make like some videos quicker. And let me tell you, one video already on the channel, which I recorded, edited, like did everything just on the phone, simply on the phone. So that's already mind blowing. But the quality of the microphones is insane, just in terms of like you can vlog just like that with like your just hand extended, and if there is no like strong wind, it's gonna be just great. It's just gonna work and you will sound great. In fact, like I have like a second channel where I'm doing some music sometimes, like I don't know, playing guitar a little bit, and on this phone, on 6S Plus, there's no way I can record me playing the guitar because it sounds like garbage. On 12, easy. I'm gonna try to include a couple examples, but right now let me just like turn on selfie cameras and simply record just like that, just a video. Front camera 1080p on 12 and 720p on 6S Plus. And on 12, by the way, you can go all the way to 4K 60, which is insane, in HDR. Like, this is crazy. And I'm right now recording in 1080p HDR. So yeah, but just the quality of the microphones, again, you're gonna see it. Not even talking about the quality of the picture, because on 6S Plus I'm just like pink as hell. It's like a pig, and here I'm just looking like a person. Переполнено сердце, рубаха от соли пестра. Завязала нас гордым узлом, да никто не разрежет. Разрубить, я уверен, руке не поднять топором. So yeah, there's that. So now we're gonna have to talk obviously about elephant in the room, and it's cameras, right? Like, it's not even comparable, like this little one thing and this, not even a competition, especially the front camera. Because on 6S Plus I was limited to 720p 30 fps. I couldn't even select like 25 or whatever, and here I can go anywhere really. 4K 24, yes, 4K 25, 4K 60, 1080p 24. There is no such setting in the default camera, which is stupid if you ask me. But 1080p 25, yes, 60, yes. The front camera is really good for what it is. It's nowhere near as good as the main camera on the phone. The main camera is something else. It's 12 megapixel sensor, so I didn't expect it to be like that good, but all the processing that Apple is doing, all of your like smart HDR, because this phone had HDR, but not even close. Not even close. It could take like maybe like, I don't know, 2-3 pictures and sort of merge them in a sort of old DSLR or like mirrorless style. But this is doing a lot of computational photography, and a lot of the time it's making a picture to look like, frankly, even better than I like see with my own eyes, because Like, yes, the eyes have like a giant dynamic range, but the eyes see it a little bit differently in terms of like if something like overexposed, like the sun, there will be like some halo a little bit, but you can still see the ground and everything, right? And the phone even removes that halo, and so it's like a lot of like sort of like a gradient essentially. It's really great. The main camera is really great. The front camera is better, like way better than I thought. It's not as good as main camera, not even close, because it's 2.2 aperture, so it needs to go higher in ISO, and it cannot go as high with ISO. There's a lot of quirks, and I'm gonna be talking about quirks and like some of the downsides of Apple and their planned obsolescence and all of that, and just like my bad experience with Apple and migrating from phone to phone, and like what I've experienced in future videos that will be coming very soon, because I'm already working and editing them. So yeah, just subscribe to the channel. One thing to absolutely mention, like just separately, night mode. Night mode is insane. I'm gonna just put a few pictures on the screen. It's insane. It's just insane what it can do. Like I was literally walking outside, just the moonlight, and not just like even direct moonlight, but like through the clouds, or like at least passing clouds, and I could make really decent pictures with like not that much noise, considering I'm using this absolutely tiny phone with absolutely tiny sensor, and yet it can create this picture that is like it is like I've seen with my eyes, and even better. I'll put a few pictures on the screen. I've taken a picture without night mode, and this is how I saw it with my own eyes, and then I've taken a picture with night mode. So it's like 2 seconds. It was usually 2 seconds sort of night mode. It goes to 3 seconds, I think, if it needs to. And the picture it produced was incredible. I think one of the best feature of this phone, truthfully, is night mode, especially for me, because I do stuff in the night. Like I'm a night person. I'm doing like video editing or writing in the night as well, or like in the late evening essentially. And these night photos are insane. Alright, next is sort of related. It's tied to both like processor and also what iOS is doing. So all those features, like I've mentioned, smart HDR video that we've got with this phone. That's the first one. HDR videos are great because again, on the phone you can watch, you can experience it really how you saw it in real life, and that's really good, because previously you could do good photos but not videos, because HDR videos, that's a huge step up. So just for that alone, for night photos, for HDR videos, this is already worth your phone. You can find the used phone. I bought mine used for about like $440, 128GB model, basically in perfect condition besides like one little scratch, and I had 88% battery life, so pretty solid. You can find a similar phone for like about $400 right now, especially if you're living in the West. I'm living unfortunately in Belarus, and the supply is very limited here, and prices are higher than in the West, because in the West there are more phones in circulation essentially. And now like the last thing is basically better life, and not even like I have almost like basically dead battery here. I literally charged this phone in the night before I went to sleep, sort of, to 100%. I woke up, it's like 1%. I don't know why. It wasn't like that before, it is like that now. Even when it was like about 80%, it just couldn't hold at idle the battery essentially, and it couldn't handle cold weather. This one, I was literally walking for like 1 hour taking photos and videos, and it got from 90% to 80%. Then I was walking for another 1 or 2 hours, so combined about like 3 hours outside in -5 to -10 degrees Celsius. I've done it several times. And when I came back home, essentially I lost about like 20-25% of battery. While taking photos, taking in and out the phone, I was listening to the podcast in the meantime, then taking photos, taking videos, about 20-25%, which is insane. It's really great because, again, the battery is not 100%, it's 88%, so there's that already. But the fact that it handled cold weather, it's great. Even though they are not rated really to handle the cold weather, and I wasn't even, a couple times, I wasn't even wearing it in some kind of a protective case. Because in the case, it even lost like less battery, because obviously it's like a little warmer in the case. So there is that. But also what's great is the efficiency of the processor. Like I'm saying, so at idle, I just charge the phone 100%, then I unplug it and I go to sleep. I wake up, it's like 99% or 98%, which is great. After 8 hours to lose only like 1 or 2% of charge, stellar, absolutely stellar. So there's that. Yeah, these are the main points essentially. I have one more bonus point though. So the last point is a bonus point, and right now it's already kind of dark, so let me increase ISO a little bit. Okay, so quick bonus point is how iOS feels like, and just in general interaction with the phone without Touch ID. I was thinking that I would miss Touch ID a lot. I didn't think this gesture swipe down, I didn't think it's gonna be that great. It's amazing though. It feels so intuitive, it feels so great. Making screenshots with just holding a side button and top button, boom, screenshot, easy, with one hand, no problem whatsoever. It's just like, it all feels great. It feels like this is the way it was meant to be, essentially. And also, cold weather, Touch ID, obviously a problem, because you need to take the gloves off, and here I just like take the phone out. Also, I was thinking about the speed of Face ID and the angles, no problems whatsoever. It unlocked right here, it unlocked from this angle and from this distance, no problem whatsoever. I was really worried about it, because I was thinking that you need to kind of hold it like that. No, you can hold it like that, you can hold it like that, you can hold it sort of like that, essentially. Unlocked it. Even though it's facing that direction, it's kind of far away. So I'm like so impressed how smoothly it works. And again, in cold weather, you just take the phone out, while you're taking it, it's already scanning your face. And I've enabled this feature that you need to look at the phone, just in case, you can disable it. And yeah, while you're taking it out, boom, it's already unlocked. So it's so easy, it's just great, it's just great. There are quirks that I don't like reaching to the top of the screen for like control center or notifications, so on and so forth. But I've also made a few videos how you can mitigate those things. I was thinking also that I might need to use like on-screen home button a lot, once again, because I didn't believe in these gestures that much. But no, and in case you don't know that you can actually put the virtual home button on the screen, I've made a video about it, I will link it. Yeah, anyway, like the whole integration of this like Touch ID-less phone, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. So yeah, this is just my thoughts. And once again, like I'm saying, there are things that I've experienced, bugs and just annoyances and just like stupid shit, and especially Apple's planned obsolescence shit that I like heavily dislike, and I'm gonna make videos about it. So please, if you want to watch those videos, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment about your experience if you've switched to iPhone from like older iPhone, or if you switched to iPhone from Android. That would be really great to hear how was your experience generally. And yeah, let's have a discussion. But sort of conclusion at the end. Should you switch to iPhone 12 in 2024? It's all the time about the money, right? If you have about $400 and you're thinking about buying like a newer iPhone, go for 12, at least 12, because there is MagSafe, there are like new features, essentially, there is newer processor, and these phones will be supported for way longer. Again, there is this like night photo, front camera is really great. Like, if you can, I would really say, if you can, go for a Pro model, even 12. Go for 12 Pro, because it's gonna have like a LiDAR sensor, it's gonna make better portrait photos with all the blur, because the LiDAR will be also calculating sort of the distance, the depth of field essentially, and the cutout will be better because portrait mode on this phone is not that great. But again, I'm gonna be talking about that in a separate video, right? If you can, I would go for like 13 Pro, because sometimes you can find them for like $500. If you can, I would probably go for that. And 13 Pro, essentially, I would go for a Pro model right now, but that's like my stuff, because 13 Pro added like macro photography, there is night portraits, but that's again because I do a lot of sort of stuff in the night essentially, so night things matter to me. If it doesn't matter to you, you can go even for 13, although like between 13 and 12, really I don't see that big of a difference. If you go in, For higher model, go for a Pro, or more expensive, go for a Pro model, because Pro models really have sort of more benefits to it. Okay, once again, I'm going to be making way more content about Apple and iPhones, so subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys, bye bye.